Life is not a straight road. It is a winding path, littered with detours, storms, and unexpected cliffs. And yet, every twist is part of the same journey. A loss, you see, is not the opposite of winning. It is the compost from which victory sprouts. The same way the seed must first be buried in darkness before it ever sees the light, your struggles are the underground preparation for the harvest you dream of. The world will try to convince you that there is such a thing as a final defeat, that once you fall, the chapter is over. But who told you that? Who set the timer? The clock is a human invention. The truth is, the game only ends when you decide to put the sword down. Understand this, the most dangerous enemy you will ever face is not the one who stands across the battlefield. It's the one who lives between your ears. That quiet, persuasive voice saying, "It's not worth it. You can't do it. Just give up." And if you are not careful, you will mistake that whisper for wisdom. A true warrior knows the difference between surrender and patience. Surrender is the silent signing of your own death warrant. Patience is the sharpening of your blade while you wait for the right moment to strike again. The warrior does not quit. He learns, he recalculates, and he comes back stronger. Do you know what makes victory inevitable? Not talent, not luck, not even opportunity. It's the refusal to stop showing up. The refusal to bow to circumstances. The refusal to let the world write your ending for you. When others would call it quits, you say, "No, the story is still being written. Pain will be part of this." You cannot avoid it. The training ground is never comfortable. You will lose friends who do not understand your path. You will face nights when your own mind becomes a prison cell. But warriors understand. Pain is not a jailer. It is a teacher. It carves away weakness. It forces you to dig deeper into reserves you didn't know existed. And when you win, and you will, the victory will taste different. Not because it came easily, but because you bled for it. Because you stared at the wall 100 times and still found a way over it. Because you refused to be a tragic story told by someone else. So remember this truth. It's not over until I win is not arrogance. It's commitment. It's the deep knowing that the battle continues until your purpose is fulfilled. And the moment you make that decision, you have already shifted the odds in your favor. Life will try to close the curtain on you. But the warrior rises, grabs the script, and says, "This scene isn't over. The audience hasn't seen my last act." And so you walk back onto the battlefield, scarred, yes, but unbroken, and with every step you tell the world it's not over. Until I win, life's game is not linear. We like to think of progress as a straight climb, a ladder where each rung leads neatly to the next. But in truth, it's more like a winding path through a wilderness you've never crossed before. You may move forward one moment and backward the next, sometimes feeling as though you're walking in circles. The map is not clear, and the terrain is rarely smooth. This is where most people misunderstand the nature of winning. They imagine that victory is a clean, uninterrupted march to the top, but no such journey exists. The moments we call losses are not interruptions to the path, they are the path. When you lose, when you fall short, when your efforts seem to crumble into dust, these are not dead ends. They are raw materials. They are the necessary compost in which the seeds of success must be buried before they can grow. In nature, nothing blooms all year. Seasons of apparent death are what allow life to return in spring. In the same way, failure is not the opposite of victory, but its silent partner. Every fall teaches you something that a straight line to success never could. Every detour reveals a strength you would never have uncovered otherwise. The problem is that we have been conditioned to see failure as a verdict, a stamp declaring, "You are not good enough." But if you look closer, you'll see that failure is actually a question, will you continue? And how you answer that question determines everything that follows. If you see life as a straight race, a single stumble feels like the end. But if you understand life as a spiral, each turn, even the ones that dip downward, still moves you forward in the grand arc of your journey. Great victories are not clean, they are forged in the chaos of trial and error. Think of the sculptor chiseling a block of marble. Each strike of the hammer removes something, but it is precisely that removal that allows the masterpiece to emerge. In your life, every apparent setback is a strike of that hammer. Painful, yes, but shaping you into the person capable of carrying the victory you seek. So when you meet loss, don't stand there asking, "Why me?" Ask instead, "What is this shaping me into?" The winding road is not a punishment, it is preparation, and the truth is the twists, the delays, the broken places, these will be the most valuable parts of your story when you finally stand on the mountaintop. Because in that moment you will realize it was never a straight climb. It was the uneven, unplanned, unpredictable road that made you worthy of winning at all. That's why the game is never truly lost unless you refuse to keep playing. The greatest opponent you will ever face is not out there in the world. It is within you. People spend their lives preparing for battles against competition, against circumstances, against the judgment of others. They sharpen their skills, study strategies, and learn how to read the moves of an external enemy. But none of that will matter if you have already surrendered to the one enemy that cannot be escaped, the voice inside your own mind. This inner adversary is subtle. It doesn't announce itself with a roar. It whispers. It speaks in a tone that sounds like reason, but it is really fear wearing a mask. It tells you that you're not ready, that the effort isn't worth it, that you'll embarrass yourself if you try again. It has 1,000 ways to convince you to lower your sword and walk away from the fight. And because it sounds so familiar, because it sounds like you, it is easy to believe. But the truth is that voice is not you. It is the echo of every doubt you've absorbed from the world, every failure you've misinterpreted as final, every insecurity you've carried like a weight. If you mistake it for your true self, you will spend your life fighting shadows outside while losing the real war inside. To master this inner opponent, you must become a watcher of your own thoughts. You must be able to stand apart from the voice and say, "I hear you, but you are not in command." This is the work of a warrior, not just charging forward when you feel strong, but holding your ground when your mind tries to convince you to retreat. The outer world is unpredictable. You can't control the market, the weather, the economy, or other people's choices. But you can train your inner world. You can cultivate discipline, resilience, and the refusal to negotiate with self-doubt. Every time that inner voice says stop, and you choose to take one more step, you are winning a battle that matters far more than the one outside. This is why so many people with talent, resources, and opportunities still fall short. They never learned to defeat themselves. They allowed the war in their head to end before the real fight began. The ones who rise, the ones who endure, are not necessarily the strongest or the smartest. They are the ones who learn to silence, or at least outlast, the voice that says, "You can't." The warrior knows the enemy across the field can wound you, but the enemy within can destroy you before you ever step onto the battlefield. And so the real victory begins inside. Once you win there, the world outside has no choice but to follow. Defeat only becomes real when you decide it is final. The truth is, time has no bell that signals the end of your fight. There is no universal referee declaring, "That's it, you're done." That moment belongs to you alone. As long as you keep showing up, as long as you keep moving, even if it's slow, even if it's clumsy, the game is still on. Too many people confuse a delay for a dead end. They take a temporary pause, a single setback, and label it as the conclusion of their story. But time does not work that way. History is filled with people who looked finished in the eyes of the world, yet were only in the middle of their fight. The difference between those who lost and those who eventually won was not in resources or luck. It was in the refusal to let the clock decide their fate. They understood that persistence bends reality. When you keep showing up, the impossible begins to shift. The walls that seemed immovable begin to crack. The doors that were locked start to give way. You must understand that endurance itself is a weapon. Every obstacle you face has a breaking point. The mountain may be large, but it does not grow stronger. You do. Each attempt, each pass, each strike adds pressure. And one day, the force you've built will be enough to split it open. But this will only happen if you are still there, still pressing forward when others have walked away. The danger is not in moving slowly, it is in stopping altogether. You can crawl toward your goal and still arrive. You can stumble, fall, and take detours, yet still win. What you cannot do is quit and expect the outcome to change. Quitting hands victory to your challenges without them having to fight for it. This is why persistence is so rare. It demands faith in the unseen. You have to believe the result is possible even when all evidence suggests otherwise. You have to be willing to live through seasons where nothing seems to be improving, yet still plant the seeds, still water the soil. Those who lack this endurance will watch their dreams wither. Those who have it will see them bloom when the season finally turns. So remember, there is no final bell until you declare it. Time is not your enemy unless you surrender to it. If you can keep showing up, you will force life to answer you. And sooner or later, if you do not quit, life will have no choice but to yield. The moment you understand this, you stop asking, "How long will it take?" and instead declare, "I'll stay until it happens." That is how persistence turns the impossible into the inevitable. Pain is not your prison. It is your instructor. Most people fear it, avoid it, and try to build a life where it never visits, but a warrior knows this is impossible. If you are alive, if you are pursuing something worthy, pain will find you. It comes in many forms: loss, betrayal, failure, exhaustion, uncertainty. And while it can break you if you let it can also refine you if you choose to learn from it. Every wound carries a lesson. Sometimes the lesson is about your own strength, showing you that you can endure far more than you imagined. Other times, it is about your weaknesses, revealing the places where you are unprepared or exposed. Pain strips away illusions. It shows you the truth about yourself, your environment, and the people around you. This is why it feels harsh, because truth often does. The danger is in treating pain as a wall rather than a doorway. When it arrives, most people stop moving. They turn away, trying to return to comfort as quickly as possible. But comfort is not where warriors are forged. The blade is not sharpened in silk. It is sharpened against stone. And so pain, if faced head on, has the power to make you stronger than you ever could be without it. Think of every challenge you've endured. Did you not leave each one with a deeper understanding of yourself? Did you not discover skills, courage, and resilience you didn't know you had? This is the paradox. While pain feels like it's destroying you in the moment, it is often building you into someone capable of far greater victories. Without the weight of the challenge, you would never have developed the muscles to carry your dream. Avoiding pain weakens you. Embracing it strengthens you. But embracing does not mean enjoying it. It means accepting its necessity. It means refusing to curse the hardship while you are in it, knowing that it is shaping you for what lies ahead. A soldier does not complain about the weight of the armor when stepping into battle. He wears it because he knows it is his protection. In the same way, pain becomes part of your armor if you let it teach you. This is why some people can endure storms that would destroy others. They do not see the storm as the enemy, but as the training ground. Each strike of lightning makes them more aware, more awake, more precise. Each wave they survive proves they can stand in deeper waters. The truth is, you cannot reach your highest potential without walking through discomfort. Victory demands sacrifice, and sacrifice is always felt as pain in the moment. But when the day comes that you stand on the other side, scarred, perhaps, but unbroken, you will realize that every wound was a lesson, and every lesson was a step toward the warrior you have become. Winning is not just the moment you cross the finish line. It is a state of being you carry with you long before that moment arrives. It begins in your decision, in your refusal to stop until your purpose is fulfilled. Too many people think of victory as a single event, a flash of glory where everything is finally right. But in reality, victory starts much earlier, in the way you choose to stand, the way you choose to act, and the way you refuse to surrender, even when the world tells you you've already lost. The real measure of a winner is not how quickly they reach their goal, but how they behave when it seems unreachable. When you decide, deep in your soul, that you will not accept an ending before the mission is complete, you have already shifted the balance in your favor. That decision creates a kind of gravity, pulling opportunities, lessons, and strength toward you that would never appear to the person who has already decided it's over. This is why victory is not only about the outcome, it's about identity. When you see yourself as a winner, you carry yourself differently. You meet obstacles with a different energy. You are no longer asking, "Can I do this?" but instead declaring, "This is already mine. It's only a matter of time." That mindset changes everything, because life tends to bend toward the person who refuses to bend to it. Even in the darkest seasons, this state of being keeps you alive inside. The external world may look like defeat, projects failing, doors closing, people doubting. But within, you are still standing. You know the story is not finished. That is what separates a true winner from someone who simply hopes for a win. The winner is committed to writing the ending themselves. This doesn't mean arrogance. It doesn't mean believing you are immune to failure or pain. It means understanding that failure is just one scene in a longer play, and you are the author who decides how it will end. You may be knocked down, but you are not staying there. You may have to change tactics, routes, or timing, but the goal remains the same. When you live this way, people will sense it. They will see that you are not swayed by setbacks or discouraged by delays. They will notice that you carry the weight of your purpose like a shield, and that nothing, not doubt, not fear, not time, can pry it from your grip. And here is the truth. When you refuse to accept defeat as final, when you live in the state of "it's not over until I win," you are already halfway there. Every step you take from that place of unshakable resolve is a victory in itself, and eventually the world will have no choice but to acknowledge what you knew all along. You were always going to win. In the end, the path to victory is never straight, never easy, and never given. You will walk through seasons of loss, wrestle with the voice inside that tells you to quit, endure storms that seem endless, and feel the sting of pain that demands to be your teacher. You will fight battles others never see, battles that take place not on the battlefield, but in the silent chambers of your own mind. Yet, if you understand that the road is meant to twist, that the fight is meant to test you, that time will keep offering chances as long as you keep showing up, you will see that defeat is never final. You will know that pain is not here to imprison you but to sharpen you, and that victory is not just a moment. It is a way of living, a decision you make every day to keep going until your purpose is fulfilled. When you carry this truth, no obstacle is permanent, no setback is terminal, and no ending is written without your consent. You become the one who refuses to put down the sword, who refuses to accept the curtain call before the story is told, who stands, battered perhaps but unbroken, and declares with unshakable certainty, "It's not over until I win."